Now, Snowcrop invites you to enjoy another of its feature presentations, Never Laugh at a Lady.
Brad, listen to this. The brilliant Dudley Dunstan, whose ready wit and sparkling humor brighten the airwaves every Tuesday night from 8 to 8:30. Dudley Dunstan, ready wit and sparkling humor. Why, that big-headed baboon hasn't said one word in 25 weeks that I didn't write for him.
Well, that's show business, Lorna.
Show business. He takes the bows, and what do I get?
A fortune.
Yes, I know. I make more than a bank president. What I've never been able to figure out is why I can barely afford a 2-room apartment, when every bank president's house I've ever seen has 17 rooms and 18 servants.
Well, maybe you drink your money away.
Well, if there's anything that could drive me to it, writing radio scripts for the great Dudley Dunstan would. Brad, do all writers hate actors?
No, dear. Most writers hate producers.
I don't hate you.
You would if you really knew me.
What's Dudley Dunstan really like?
No, he's all right, I guess. He's nervous. He worries a lot.
You know, it's darn difficult writing scripts week in and week out for a man you've never met.
Now, I know, dear. But that's one of Dudley's quirks. He doesn't approve of women writers.
Suppose he found out that L.C. Barlow was actually Lorna Barlow.
Below his little top.
He must be an awful stuffed shirt.
And Mr. Hobson, our sainted sponsor, agrees with him. He doesn't approve of women in business.
Well, then Mr. Hobson, too, must be an awful stuffed shirt.
He's a sponsor. He's our sponsor, spelled bread and butter. Never forget that. And besides, we're in his house.
I wonder why we were summoned to the presence.
The show hasn't been going over very well.
Trouble?
Could be.
Excuse me. Mr. Hobson wants to see you alone for a few minutes before the meeting, Mr. Bradshaw.
Okay, Mr. Meggs, this is Miss Lorna Barlow. Mr. Meggs is Mr. Hobson's brother-in-law.
Well, how do you do?
Thank you.
Where's Bradshaw?
Right here, sir.
Well, are you coming to see me or aren't you?
I'll be right with you, Mr. Hobson. You see, he respects me. He leaves the decision up to me. I could have said no if I'd wanted to. I'm also free to cut my own throat any time I decide.
Oh, Mr. Hobson doesn't really mean any harm.
Oh, don't mind Brad. That's just his way of talking. As a matter of fact, I think he rather likes him. Are you with the Hobson firm, Mr. Meggs?
Oh, gracious, no.
Just thought you might be.
No, I don't do anything at all.
Oh.
No, I'm Mr. Hobson's brother-in-law.
Oh, I see.
Kind of sounds like a title, doesn't it?
I guess so.
Well, I'm going out and putter around the lawn.
All right.
Then if Martha, that's my sister, asks what I did all morning, I can tell her I was puttering around the lawn.
Will she like that?
Oh, yes, it makes her very happy that I don't have to work for a living.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah, we owe it all to Mr. Hobson. He gets angry about business sometimes, but he likes to make Martha happy.
Oh, Mr. Meggs, you're breaking my heart.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do?
No. No, you just go on out and putter around the lawn. Yeah.
Well, goodbye. I hope we meet again.
Well, thank you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, all right. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Oh, come right in, Mr. Dunstan.
Hello. Are you Hobson's daughter?
No, I don't believe Mr. Hobson has a daughter.
All right, we'll start again. I'm Dudley Dunstan.
Are you?
Now, don't tell me you've never heard of me.
I've heard of you.
Not impressed, eh?
Well, I didn't want to embarrass you with my enthusiasm.
Hey, what do you got against me?
Nothing. As a matter of fact, I was just reading about your ready wit and sparkling humor, Mr. Dunstan.
Tell me, little girl, has any other man ever brought out this viciousness in you?
Oh, very funny.
Not bad, eh? I think I'll write that one into the script next week.
Oh, you write your own material?
Sure, you got to. If you want something done well, do it yourself. Of course, I've got someone to help me with the details.
Oh, the details.
You know, if I hadn't become a great actor, I might have become a great writer. You know, Pulitzer Prize stuff.
Lord, give me strength.
I get it. Nervous, eh? You're auditioning. I've been through those audition nerves. Boy, they're murder. But I'm glad to see they're finally listening to Uncle Dudley.
Now what?
I've been after him for weeks to get a pretty girl in the show for me to work with. You know, most guys are just comics. But me, I'm basically the romantic type.
Tell me, Mr. Dunstan, as a flash finish, have you ever tried holding yourself out at arm's length and singing the Star-Spangled Banner?
Now, don't you worry, honey. I know just how nervous you are. Hobson may be putting up the money, but it's still the Dudley Dunstan show.
I'm impressed.
And I'm going to see to it that you get the job.
But I thought you didn't like women in show business.
That only applies to writers. Frankly, I don't care for writers, male or female.
Why not?
They smoke pipes.
Even the women?
Look, honey, writers are people who lack either the talent or the nerve to get up there and face an audience.
Indeed.
Exactly. But they do have the nerve to get sore at us when we can't read a line that's so corny it would grow on the ground in Kansas.
You're late, Dunstan.
Well, Mr. Hobson, it's certainly a pleasure to see you again.
Hi.
Mr. Hobson, this is Miss Lorna Barlow.
Oh, how do you do, Miss Barlow?
How do you do?
Barlow? Barlow?
L.C. Barlow.
I'll tell him when he comes in.
I'm a very busy man, Dunstan. Forgive me if I come bluntly to the point.
Certainly, that's what I like, too. Plain speaking and fancy eating.
Well, here's the point. Your show hasn't been funny enough.
But, Mr. Hobson...
I don't know anything about show business. I don't want to know anything about show business. I'm interested in selling our product.
An excellent product.
And don't you forget it. Before, we used to sell on quality alone, but today we have to have sales conferences, goodwill tours, prizes for box tops, and you.
I don't like my billing in
Never
there.
mind the billing. I told you I don't know anything about entertainment. I'm a businessman. I'm judging you entirely on what a set of books tell me. The public hasn't been listening to you.
Okay, I know what's coming. I'm fired.
You're right. Your contract is canceled. Young lady, it isn't your fault. Those shows were extremely well written.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for your sake I have to cancel.
Mr. Hobson, the airtime's already been bought for next week. Why not let Dudley finish it out?
Just a minute here. I've been fired.
Now, Dudley, you're upset. You think you've been insulted. But don't do something that'll hurt you more than it'll help.
Don't cool at me.
What?
I've been fired. Okay. If you want to hire me for the last show, for which you have already bought the time, my services will cost you twice as much.
You may not be much of a comedian, Dunstan, but you're not a bad businessman, are you?
Look, I'm no longer your employee, so I no longer want to hear your opinions of my ability as a comedian.
Mr. D prefers to think of himself as the lover type.
And any more little digs out of you, kitten, and over my knee you'll go.
Lover.
Dudley, take it easy.
I'm not taking it easy.
So you figure you have us over a barrel, huh?
I might, and if I do, I'm squeezing.
There's only one trouble there, son. I don't squeeze easy. Put the last show on.
With who? Whom?
I don't care anybody. It doesn't make any difference. Let Elmo play it.
Oh, Mr. Hobson, you're not serious.
Why not?
But Elmo isn't an actor.
Wait a minute, Brad. I think there's an idea here.
What?
I could write a good script for Mr. Meggs.
As a comedian?
Look, if his real qualities can be brought through to them, an audience would love him. Why, he's sweet and gentle and charming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The girl's right. We'll try it.
Okay. You're paying the freight.
Well, Elmo, I was once canceled on the pole circuit and replaced by acrobats. Then in Schenectady one time, a man with trained pigeons took my spot. Later, he ate the act. And in the West Coast, I was replaced by a trained seal, which escaped in the San Francisco Bay. So all I can say to you is, I wish you luck.
Oh, thank you.
Mrs. Hobson?
Yes.
How do you do? I'm Dudley Dunstan. I was shouting here. I hope I didn't disturb you.
Not at all. I didn't even hear it.
I'm very glad to hear that. Good day.
Good day.
I guess you better get to work. Come along, Lorna. Oh, Mrs. Hobson. We'll see you later, Mr. Meggs, as soon as we get a script on paper.
Thank you.
Goodbye. What an attractive man.
Brad? Yeah, I guess he's all right.
No, the other Dunstan. He's quite handsome, and he has a most attractive voice.
Martha?
Yes, yes.
How many times have I told you that you don't know anything about business?
But darling, all I said was...
Martha, you're a charming, gracious, and lovely woman, but please don't mix into my business affairs.
And what did you do all morning, Elmo, dear?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, just puttered around the lawn.
Oh, that's nice, dear.
It's no use, is it?
Now, Elmo, that was only the first rehearsal. You didn't do too badly.
I was awful.
Well, you'll be lots better after you've had a chance to rehearse it some more.
But I don't want to be a radio comedian.
Well, why not?
I don't want to make jokes about advertising vice presidents.
Well, then you won't have to.
Well, yes, I will. All the comedians do, sooner or later.
You've got something there.
Advertising vice presidents are no laughing matter.
I'll say.
Oh, this whole radio thing worries me. I don't like it when the audience come in and that man stands up and tells them to laugh.
Who? The announcer?
Well, yes, suppose the audience doesn't want to laugh.
Well,
A lot of people don't want to laugh. A lot of people like to just smile. I do.
Elmo, you're very shy.
Maybe, but when I don't want to laugh, I don't want to laugh. And I don't want someone to wave at me and tell me that I have to.
I don't know why, but that sounds completely reasonable.
What the audience ought to do is storm the stage and run that fella out of the place.
Elmo, you're a man of violence.
When I have to be.
Well, right now you have to be a radio comedian, and I have to fix the script.
I know. I'll go through with it, only
What?
Only if I fail as a comedian, they'll probably make a news commentator out of me.
Some of them are funnier than the comedians.
Yeah, but being a news commentator would be really awful. I can't stand up there every day and tell the president and the cabinet and the Congress what to do.
You'd be a novelty then.
I don't know as much about what's actually happening as those people do.
Now, you wouldn't let that stop you.
Well, yes.
Well, then you'd be an awful flop as a news commentator.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's rehearse that last speech once more.
And now, on behalf of the Hobson Company, the members of the cast and myself, we bid you fair fond well. Fond welfare. Fairfell. Fondell. Flower pot. Phooey.
Take it easy, Elmo. It's going to be all right.
I don't know what's the matter. I've been reading words all my life, but having to say them like this, they get all mixed up.
Now, there's nothing to worry about. I promise you we're going to do the broadcast from this rehearsal studio, so there won't be any audience to make you nervous.
Yes, but all those people out there, everywhere, listening.
I'll see what I can do to make it a little easier for you.
Oh, thank you. I wish I was dead.
Hello. Now, this is Bradshaw. Dunstan. All right, let him come in.
The great Dudley come to gloat over it.
No, he isn't as bad as he seems. You two got off on the wrong foot.
The wrong feet. Both of them his, and both of them too big.
And how have my two peachy little pals been spending these past few days?
Dudley, there are times when I think you're not so bad. And there are other times when I'm sure you're objectionable, annoying, and obnoxious.
Please, you're talking about the man I love.
I give up.
Seeing we're making with the personal observations, I'd like to point out that you played as broken a broken reed as I've ever seen.
What are you talking about?
When I was in trouble with Hobson, you backed me up real good, you did.
Is that what you came up here to say?
No, I came up to tell you that I'm a man who bears no grudge.
All right. You've told us.
Oh, but there's more to it than that. I may be able to save your Mr. Hobson $50,000.
That's known as the easy approach.
Then he lowers the boom. All right, let's have it.
You hired this charming little scrivener, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You put her under personal contract to me for 26 weeks.
Well, what of it?
Just this. Your services are exclusively mine until midnight tonight. That script you wrote belongs to me. Use it or any part of it on Elmo's show, and I'll sue the whole pack of you for $50,000. Maybe 100.
Can he?
He can.
And he will.
Why do you want to do a thing like this?
Look, honey child, I've been pushed around and I don't like it. If somebody belts me, I've just got to belt back or I'll hate myself.
Dudley, be reasonable.
No can do. If I ever get to hate myself, it'll break up the most beautiful romance of the century.
But how can I tell this to Mr. Hobson? What am I going to say?
Kitten, you better write Brad a script.
Martha,
Yes, dear?
I have a surprise for you.
Yes, dear?
After this evening, Elmo will be famous.
I know, dear.
You do? How?
Elma told me.
Why, he wasn't supposed to talk about it. It was to be a surprise.
Oh, it wasn't Elmo's fault. But I've noticed he's been very unhappy for the last few days, and I finally persuaded him to tell me why.
Unhappy? Well, what's he got to be unhappy about? I tell you, he stands a good chance of being famous.
But that might not be good for Elmo. He might not like it.
Might not like it? Bosh.
Yes, dear.
Why not?
Why wouldn't Elmo like being famous?
Yes, why wouldn't he?
Because Elmo is timid.
Timid? Nonsense. What man is timid? I'm not timid.
No, dear, you're not.
That's why you love me.
No, it isn't.
It isn't? Well, why do you love me?
Because in spite of being a blustering wild man, you're gentle and sweet with me.
Am I?
Yes, dear.
Well, it's too late to call it off now. Elmo goes on the air in 2 hours.
Oh, don't be disturbed, Ralph. I dare say it'll come out all right.
Now, what makes you think it'll be all right?
You'll find a way to work it out. You always do.
Hello.
Mr. Hobson, this is Brad.
Well, what is it? Ooh. Is that so? He does, eh? Don't worry, dear. Elmo won't have to go on tonight. All right. You put Dunstan on the air tonight. I'll show that young man I'm big enough to take a licking. Martha, do you know why I love you?
No, dear, I don't.
Because I just can't help it.
All right, you win.
You mean he gave in?
He gave in.
But if I go on, what happens to Elmo?
Oh, don't worry about me.
Now, wait a minute, Elmo. I'm not going to let them shove you around.
No, please. I'll be very happy if I don't have to do this.
You wanted it. You've got it. Now, where's your script?
Script? I don't have any script.
Mr. Dunstan, you're on.
But he can't play a part that was written for Elmo.
What else are we going to do?
If there are no objections, I'd like to make a suggestion.
What is it, Elmo?
Well, I get up early in the morning and I listen to the radio.
So you're the guy.
Oh, there are other people who listen too, I'm sure. But what I like best are these husband and wife at breakfast programs.
Yeah, they're successful.
I like them a lot. And I got to wondering, why do people in radio eat only one meal a day?
Elmo, darling, I'm afraid you're going to have to make that a little clearer.
Well, a husband and wife eat dinner together too, not just breakfast.
Hey, he might have something now.
Yeah, and so the last few days I've been puttering around writing this script. And if you
Here,
think
let me
it's
see
all
that.
right, well, you could, Lorna could take the part of the wife.
That kills it.
Why, I wouldn't play your wife if you were the last man on earth.
If I were the last man on earth, you wouldn't get the chance.
And if I...
Children, playtime is over. Now, let's get to work. We've got a show to put on tonight.
Please don't make him like a director.
Seems as if...
Now, you've got the first line. Come on, let's run through the script quickly.
Don't get tough about it. Hello, darling.
Hello, sweetheart.
Oh, what's the matter now?
Says here we're supposed to kiss.
Well, go on, kiss. We haven't got any sound effects, man. You'll have to do it yourself. Now take it again from the top.
Hello, darling.
Hello, sweetheart.
Oh, what's the matter?
I don't think we got it quite right.
And now the Hobson Company brings you a brand new program called Lorna and Dudley.
Hello, darling.
Hello, sweetheart. Oh, you look tired, my darling.
I am.
Well, you sit down and read your paper. There. Dinner'll be ready in just a few minutes.
Thanks. That sure feels good.
Problems at the office, dear?
Oh, bother you.
Now, what kind of a comedy opening is
Don't
that?
you worry. Please.
Yes?
Don't interrupt.
Well, if you think so.
And now, a brief message from our sponsor. For 20 years, the Hobson name has stood for quality and excellence of product.
I think that first act went very well.
Felt good to me, too.
You're a good little actress.
Well, thank you. Oh, all right. You proved it. I was writing the wrong kind of material for you. You're not just a comedian. You're a good actor.
Thanks. Lorna, let's get this thing cleared up. I'm sorry if I said anything to hurt you when I was angry.
I'm glad you did. I liked it.
You liked it?
Mm-hmm. I found out something.
What?
I found out I like a man who fights back.
Wait a minute.
We're on. I realize this sounds silly, but it's something I want to know. Why do you love me?
Because I can't help it.
That's a funny kind of answer.
No, it isn't. It means because to me you will always be as beautiful as the first day I met you. You're lovely, and that means both grace and beauty. To me, you're everything, so how can I help but love you?
Good night, darling.
Good night.
Taking my money to put on a comedy show and then do this husband and wife nonsense. Now, who in the world would want to listen to stuff like that?
I did.
You did? Why?
Because it's a love story. Well, every woman in the world would want to listen to a love story.
Martha, are you mixing into my business affairs?
No, dear.
All right. Better get your coat. I'm calling him to wait at the studio till we get there.
Making us wait here while he comes down to bawl us out in person.
All right, let him have his say.
Mr. Hobson's bark's worse than his bite.
So let him bite. We have teeth, too. Here he comes, fellas. Stand to your guns.
Great, great. My boy, you were great.
You're right.
Congratulations to you, too, Brad. The best show I've heard in many a day. Young lady, you're a real surprise. A fine actress as well as a writer.
Well, thank you, but I didn't write it.
No?
No, Elmo did.
Elmo did? Elmo, I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Now, listen, everybody. I'll have contracts drawn tomorrow. We're going to put on a show like this every week.
I guess you really did like it.
Liked it, my son. I tell you that every woman in this country will want to listen to a love story.
And Ralph's judgment is infallible.
Elmo, do you think you can write one like this every week?
Well, it would help if you and Martha would fight once in a while.
Look, I've got a great idea for next week. Dudley's in the living room, and Lorna comes in.
Bradshaw.
What?
Directors know nothing about script writing.
You're right, Elmo. You're absolutely right.
Thank you.
Rehearsing?